Here's the cold, creamy truth nobody wants to admit. Not all ice creams are created equal. Some of the tubs in your freezer are basically sweetened air wearing a vanilla-flavored Halloween costume. We've all been there. You're standing in the frozen foods aisle, staring at a carton that promises the world. The picture shows cloud-soft scoops, rivers of caramel, chunks the size of meteorites. You take it home, crack it open, and what do you get? Something that looks like it evaporated on the way home. Today, we're putting 10 major ice cream brands under the microscope. Taste, texture, ingredients, value. The whole frozen truth. We're ranking them from absolute worst all the way to surprisingly best. And trust me, a few of these placements are going to mess with your childhood memories. Especially number 5. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button because we're about to save you from some seriously disappointing scoops and point you toward the brands that are actually worth your freezer real estate. Number 10. Breyers. Coming in at number 10, we have Breyers. And here's the thing. Breyers is like a beautifully wrapped gift filled with packing peenkins. It looks great on the shelf, but once you dig in, you're left wondering where the actual ice cream went. Many Breyers cartons aren't even legally allowed to call themselves ice cream. Check the label next time. A bunch of their products are labeled as frozen dairy dessert because they don't meet the butterfat requirements. They're loaded with stabilizers that basically turn what should be creamy indulgence into flavored foam. The texture? Airy. It melts fast and not in that satisfying way. And when it comes to flavor depth, Breyers falls flat. There's no richness, no complexity. Customer reviews back this up. You'll see the same complaints over and over. Watery texture, not as creamy as it used to be. Tastes like air. The real kicker is that Breyers used to be a respected name, but somewhere along the way, they decided to prioritize cost-cutting over quality. Bottom line, Breyers is a nostalgic name that struggles to keep up with modern expectations. And if you think Breyers lets you down, wait until you meet number 9. Number 9. Blue Bunny. At number 9, we have Blue Bunny. And Blue Bunny is basically the fast food drive-thru of ice creams. It's reliable, it's cheap, and it's very, very average. Here's the deal. They offer a broad flavor range, which sounds great in theory. But in practice, most of those flavors taste one note. There's no depth, no layers. You get sweetness and maybe a hint of whatever the flavor is supposed to be. The texture is lighter because there's more air churned into it. This is a common trick in the budget ice cream world. More air means less actual product, which keeps costs down. But it also means less satisfaction per scoop. Taste test comments tell the story pretty well. People describe it as good for kids, not for connoisseurs. And that's fair. If you're buying ice cream for a children's birthday party where quantity matters more than quality, Blue Bunny gets the job done. Bottom line, Blue Bunny isn't terrible. It's painfully middle of the freezer. Number 8. Dreyer's, Edie's. Number 8 is Dreyer's, also known as Edie's. And Dreyer's is the sitcom rerun of ice cream. It's comforting, it's familiar, but it's rarely exciting. Dreyer's does classic flavors. They've been around forever, and they know how to make standard chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. The problem is that these flavors are rarely standouts. They're fine. They exist. But that's where the excitement ends. The texture sits firmly in the meh zone. It's neither rich nor light. It's not creamy enough to feel indulgent, but it's not airy enough to feel refreshing. The one thing Dreyer's has going for it is the price point. It's usually cheaper than premium brands. But that lower price comes with a trade-off. You're not getting premium punch. Consumer reviews consistently describe it as reliable but bland. Dreyer's won't offend you. It also won't impress you. But now things get tricky, because number 7 actually should be better than it is. Number 7. Talenti Gelato and Sorbetto. At number 7, we have Talenti Gelato and Sorbetto. And Talenti is the fancy cafe experience that sometimes forgets to bring the flavor. On paper, this brand should be crushing it. They've got smooth gelato-style texture with less air churned in. They focus on natural ingredients. And those clear plastic jars? They look elegant. But here's where Talenti stumbles. Some of their flavors taste muted and washed out. You expect this explosion of flavor based on the packaging, but what you actually get is underwhelming. It's like they dialed the flavor intensity down to about 70% of where it should be. There's a Reddit review that sums this up perfectly. Flavor weak, texture inconsistent. Used to be better. And that last part stings because it suggests Talenti might have been great once and then slipped. The real kicker is that Talenti charges premium prices. You're paying extra for those beautiful jars and that gelato label. But if the flavor isn't there to back it up, you're basically paying for aesthetics. Bottom line, Talenti has the look, they have the concept, but the execution is hit or miss. If this is already saving you from a bad meal, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Because number 6 is proof that indulgence can go both right and very, very wrong. Number 6. Cold Stone Creamery. Number 6 is Cold Stone Creamery. And Cold Stone is a dessert playground, but sometimes too chaotic for its own good. Here's what Cold Stone does right. They use high butterfat content, which means their base ice cream is rich and indulgent. The whole experience of watching them mix your ice cream on that frozen slab with whatever toppings you want is fun and customizable. But the execution, that's where things get messy. The quality is wildly inconsistent across different locations. One Cold Stone might give you perfectly blended ice cream with generous mix-ins. Another location might give you an overly sweet mess where the mix-ins are barely there. And let's talk about the sweetness issue. Cold Stone can be overwhelmingly sweet, like mouth coating, sugar bomb sweet. And when you're already dealing with mix-ins like cookie dough and brownies, that extra sweetness can push things into too much territory. Trustpilot reviews often complain about this exact problem. People say things like way too sugary and mix-ins missing. The real kicker with Cold Stone is that when it's good, it's amazing. But that level of inconsistency means you're basically gambling every time you go. And speaking of indulgence, number 5 will shock you because most people rank this way higher. Number 5, Magnum Bars. Coming in at number 5, and yes, this is the placement that's going to make some of you yell at your screen, we have Magnum Bars. Now, before you come for me in the comments, hear me out. Magnum Bars are a luxury chocolate truffle disguised as an ice cream bar. They're decadent, they're indulgent, but they're limited in what they actually deliver as an ice cream experience. Let's start with what Magnum does well. That thick Belgian chocolate shell? It's fantastic. The snap when you bite into it, the way the chocolate coats your mouth, it's genuinely premium quality. But here's the thing. If you're a chocolate lover, Magnum is great. If you're an ice cream purist who wants the frozen dairy part to be just as impressive as the coating, you're going to be disappointed. The ice cream inside is just okay. And get this. Magnum is a single-serve format, which means you're getting low value per dollar. You're paying premium prices for what amounts to a few bites. Many reviews highlight exactly this issue. People say things like love the chocolate, but the ice cream inside is just okay. When half of your product is carrying the entire experience, you can't claim to be a top-tier ice cream brand. Bottom line, Magnum Bars are a premium bite, but they're not a full ice cream experience. And now we enter the territory of brands people fight over. Number 4. Baskin-Robbins. At number 4, we have Baskin-Robbins. And Baskin-Robbins is the ice cream buffet. Lots of choice, hit or miss execution. Baskin-Robbins is famous for one thing: variety. 31 flavors, one for every day of the month. The brand is kid-friendly, nostalgia-rich, and fun. But here's where things get complicated. Many of those flavors are overly sweet. The sweetness often overpowers the actual flavor profiles, which means you're getting sugar first and flavor second. Ingredient quality also varies. Some flavors are legitimately good. Others taste like they were designed for kids who don't. Know the difference between artificial flavoring and the real thing. Food reviewers consistently describe Baskin-Robbins as fun but not premium. And that's accurate. If you want a fun ice cream experience with tons of options, Baskin-Robbins delivers. But if you're looking for mastery, you're going to find better options. Bottom line, Baskin-Robbins is great for memories, not always for mastery. And if you're finding this ranking useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel cut through the noise. And now, to the top 3. This is where the titans live. Number 3. Bluebell Creameries. At number 3, we have Bluebell Creameries. And Bluebell is Grandma's kitchen in a carton. Classic, comforting, and deeply beloved. If you're from the South, you already know about Bluebell. This brand has a cult following, and for good reason. The texture is home-style, meaning it's creamy without being overly dense. The flavors are straightforward and honest. When you get Bluebell Vanilla, it tastes like real vanilla. And the value? Bluebell gives you large tubs at reasonable prices. You're not paying premium costs for premium quality, you're paying fair prices for genuinely good ice cream. Here's the trade-off. Bluebell is sometimes too simple for gourmet lovers. If you want complex flavor profiles or artisanal touches, Bluebell might feel a little basic. But that simplicity is also its strength. Bluebell's homemade vanilla has been one of the best-selling flavors in the United States for years. Bottom line, Bluebell is old-school charm done right. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, but it's consistently good. Now we're down to 2 brands that almost broke the scoring system. Number 2, Häagen-Dazs. At number 2, we have Häagen-Dazs. And Häagen-Dazs is a minimalist masterpiece, dense, rich, and elegantly simple. Here's what makes Häagen-Dazs special. High butterfat content. This gives their ice cream that creamy, indulgent texture that coats your mouth in the best way possible. Every spoonful feels substantial. And the ingredient lists? They're short. Häagen-Dazs doesn't load their products with stabilizers or artificial flavors. You get cream, sugar, eggs, and whatever flavoring ingredient the flavor calls for. That's it. When you eat Häagen-Dazs vanilla, you taste pure vanilla bean. When you eat their chocolate, you taste real cocoa. The flavors are strong, clean, and pure. The trade-off? Häagen-Dazs is minimalist. They don't do a ton of mix-ins. They're about perfecting the base ice cream itself. And for some people, that feels too simple. Bottom line, when simplicity is done right, it's almost unbeatable. Häagen-Dazs proves that you don't need gimmicks to make exceptional ice cream. Almost unbeatable. Because number 1 brings chaos, flavor bombs, and an entire fan base with pitchforks. Number 1, Ben & Jerry's. And at number 1, the champion, we have Ben & Jerry's. And Ben & Jerry's is a full-blown dessert, orchestra, bold flavors, huge chunks, and unapologetic indulgence. Here's why Ben & Jerry's sits at the top. They don't hold back. At all. When they say cookie dough, they mean actual chunks big enough to be a snack by themselves. When they say brownie pieces, they mean fudgy, substantial pieces that give you texture in every other bite. The flavors are strong and creative. They're not playing it safe with basic chocolate and vanilla. They're creating combinations like Chunky Monkey, Half-Baked, Fish Food, Cherry Garcia. These aren't flavors, they're experiences. And the brand itself, they're ethically minded. Fair trade ingredients, social responsibility initiatives, commitment to sustainability. Yes, it's a premium price. A pint of Ben & Jerry's costs more than a half gallon of budget brands. But here's the thing. You get what you pay for. The quality is there. The flavor is there. The texture is there. The mix-ins are there. Multiple reviews praise exactly this. People say things like, "No one else puts this much flavor and texture in one pint." And they're right. Ben & Jerry's doesn't skimp. Bottom line, Ben & Jerry's is the heavyweight champion of fun, flavor, and pure ice cream joy. And that's our frozen gauntlet, from the lightweights to the legends. At the bottom, we saw brands like Breyers, Blue Bunny, and Dreyer's, which deliver nostalgia but not always the quality you expect in 2025. Moving up the list, Talenti teased elegance without always delivering. Cold Stone gave us indulgence with chaos, and Magnum delivered gourmet chocolate but limited ice cream payoff. The mid-upper tier brought us Baskin-Robbins and Bluebell, proving that classic doesn't have to mean boring. And then we hit the giants. Haagen-Dazs with its silky simplicity, and Ben & Jerry's, the runaway champion of mix-in madness. If there's one lesson here, it's this: don't trust the picture on the carton. Trust the flavor in the spoon. Sometimes the prettiest packaging hides the weakest scoop, and sometimes the chunky, slightly chaotic pint is the one worth every calorie. Let me know in the comments which ice cream brand on this list surprised you the most. And if you want to make smarter fast food choices, subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you in the next one.